This is the cheapest full-frame mirrorless camera in the market, but is it any good? What's going on, guys? Gary Yaman here. Thank you for stopping by to this channel. If you're new to the channel, I am a photographer, filmmaker based out of Amsterdam in the Netherlands, and from time to time I like to do reviews. In this case, a review about this guy right here, the Canon EOS RP with the 24-105 lens. It also includes the EF adapter, which is somewhere in the box still. I don't use that because the only lens I got is this one right here. Today's video is all about my experience with this camera. So let's jump in. Here is a table of content somewhere next to me here or there. We'll see later in the video. So it's all about the price, the build, the photo quality, the film quality, and then the overall conclusion of this little guy. I'm not sponsored at all. I'm not going to talk about any specs as well because you can just look that up on the website from Canon. So the price is the main selling point for this camera. The body alone will cost you $999 US, including this kit right here, this lens right here, the 24-105 f4 lens and the EF adapter. It will cost you $1,650, which is to me a steal. So if you're in the market for a cheap, affordable camera with a good lens, then this is definitely something worth checking. Looking at the competitors, Nikon, Sony, Panasonic, they don't really have that kind of offer, at least not that offer for such a low price. Sony has a camera with that price, but then you get a older camera such as the Sony A7 Mark II. I don't know if you want to have a older camera or older tech camera. It's still a good camera, but if you want something new from this year, then you cannot look even further than the Canon EOS RP. So if you're in the market for a new camera and you want to spend your money for a mirrorless camera which has a full frame sensor and you don't want to spend $2,000, then the Canon EOS RP is the one to buy. All right, let's jump into the build. The build and the grip, everything you see and feel right here. It feels good in the hand. It has a strong, nice grip compared to my Sony A7 III. This has a grip, the Sony A7 III, not really, right? So this feels very solid. Keep in mind that this is not weather sealed, so if you are in some kind of bad weather conditions, make sure that you bring a rain cover with you or any type of cover with you to protect your camera. And also it got the flippy screen, which is also very nice to have, very convenient as well. Furthermore, what I didn't really like is that the on and off button is placed on the left side. I'd rather have it on the same side as your shutter button so that you can turn it on and off with just one hand instead with two hands. Like, you know, you have to do it like this, turn it on. It's not like you can do it with your, unless you have very large hands maybe, but you really have to do it like this. Turn it on, then you take photos. Just like a little monkey that is eating a banana, you know. What I didn't really like is that the memory card is on the bottom of the camera. So if the memory card is full, you have to pull it out from below the camera. And if you are on a tripod, or if the camera is on a tripod, you can't really pick it because the door will, I think, will hit the tripod. Also, the battery is not that great. The battery life is not really that great because it's a very small battery. And if you want to have the most of this little battery, you must turn off the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth of this camera. So that's a little pro tip there. Pro tip there. If you want to extend your battery life, don't use the Wi-Fi and don't use the Bluetooth. Keep in mind that this battery will last you not even one full day. If you plan out shooting for the whole day, then you must buy at least 2 extra batteries for this camera. We got all the needed inputs, output, input, what do you call it, connections. You got the USB-C, HDMI, you got the mic jack, headphone jack. We got also a remote controller jack Now, a very important topic, the photo quality, the image quality, and I can just say that the image quality out of this camera is fantastic. If you got a great lens such as this one, I really like this lens, by the way. It is sharp, corner to corner, with f4 as well, and with good light conditions you won't be disappointed at all. The bokeh is also very nice, very round and not noisy at all. So a very good lens to carry around with, very versatile. About the image quality itself, you can get amazing results with it if you got great light conditions, but also even in low light conditions you can get very nice usable pictures, unlike a certain Micro Four Thirds camera. Use the link up here if you want to check that out. It's a Micro Four Thirds camera from Olympus, and with low light conditions that camera is just useless. This camera right here, the Canon EOS RP, even though you have to bump up the ISO, you still get very nice usable images. So good job Canon for this camera regarding the image quality. Alright, so little interruption. I totally forgot to mention that I've updated the firmware to the latest firmware, the firmware 1.4 I believe, with the newest autofocus updates and things like that, 24 frames per second and everything. So what you see is a very nice autofocus feature in this camera. I cannot talk anymore, just let's go and continue with this little review. Bye. Also, I've been using the 24-105 lens. There are also even better lenses, faster lenses, such as the 1635 f2.8 or just the normal 24-70 f2.8, but also a very amazing 85mm f1.2 I think, or f1.4 lens. I didn't get my hands on that one, but I think if you use that one with the Canon EOS RP, you will get amazing results. You won't be disappointed at all. But do keep in mind that if you are using this Canon EOS RP, be aware that this is not the fastest camera around. So if you are tracking or making photos of things that are moving very fast, this camera is not for you. Let me demonstrate. Let's see, drive mode, high speed continuous. Let's go. Let's say you're on a somewhere during a sports game, sports event, and something is happening, a very fast action, and you want to capture it. And this is the sound. This is the way that it goes. All right, are you ready? Not that fast. Actually, quite slow, to be honest. Compared to my Sony A7 III, which goes like that, goes like so very slow. And just keep that in mind, that this is not something that you would use for an event or something like that. Just for family stuff, casual stuff, portraits, things that are not moving too fast, this is something that you would use. Alright, so that's all about the image quality. The JPEG files, yeah, that's something what I want to talk about the Colorscience. I don't know much about the Colorscience of Canon. A lot of people on YouTube and forums are saying that the Canon Colorscience is the best. But if I compare it to my Sony files, for instance, I don't see any real differences. The only differences I see is the white balance actually. But after that, it's all pretty much the same. What I did find out is that the JPEG files of the Canon EOS RP are not that nice. So straight out of camera JPEGs are not that really nice. So what I did is just shoot in RAW and then process the image by yourself, and then you get the best results. The JPEG that I found useful are the only ones that were actually in good light conditions. So maybe it has to do with the picture profile that I've chosen. Not sure. I've tested out many picture profiles and the JPEGs were not that good to me. So keep that in mind if you're planning to buy this camera. Alright, next topic, the film quality or the film capabilities. Can you film with this guy? Can you film with this little camera? And yes, you can film with this camera. Keep in mind that the Canon EOS RP is geared towards the photographer side, so maybe that's why it says RP, P for photography. Not that much for taking or making movies. It has some movie capabilities or filming capabilities, such as 4K, but with a huge crop. I'm going to show you an example. Also, you will lose the dual pixel autofocus. Alright, and this is now the 4K cropped picture. And I don't know if I'm in focus or not. I hope that I'm in focus. So this is the 4K 25 frames per second with the Canon EOS RP. Then it will just go back to contrast based autofocus, I think. Not very useful, and the crop factor in 4K is not very nice as well, because it's punched in very deeply actually. But you can still shoot in full HD, meaning 1080p. Alright, so I'm now filming with the Canon EOS RP. Welcome to this video. This is the review about that camera. Filming now in 25 frames per second, and within a few moments I'm going to switch to the Sony a7 III. So let's see how this camera does in my review. Up to 60 frames per second, or if you're living in Europe, up to 50 frames per second, because otherwise you get those weird flickering lights, right? If you want to do slow motion, you got some slow motion capabilities, but 60 frames per second, 50 frames per second, that's it. And the 1080p looks okay for casual filming, for YouTube things. It's not the best out there, but then again, if you want to have better video filmmaking capabilities, then you must go check out the Canon EOS R, which is the bigger brother of this RP. But this camera also has a This camera also has a cool feature, and that is that it also has image stabilization, electronic image stabilization, and combined with this lens, the 24-105, you also got stabilization from the lens itself. So then you got a double stabilization. I'm just going to show you something, a little walk around action, so you can check that out. What do you think about that? I think it looks great, it looks good enough for online things. Not the best out there again, but if you want to take little clips of something, maybe from your children or for your pet or anything like that, maybe even for YouTube, so it is possible. The overall conclusion: we're coming to an end. Let's wrap this up. So what I said in the beginning, the Canon EOS RP is the cheapest full frame mirrorless camera from this day and age. Is it any good? And the answer is yes, it is good. It is actually quite nice combined with the right lenses. Be aware though that the RF lenses are quite expensive. If you want to have the best quality out there, you will be at least spending money from $2,000 euros or more. But you also got the EF adapter, so then you can just fall on back on the older EF mounted lenses. So these are very affordable as well. What I think the overall target group will be for this camera are amateurs, photo enthusiasts that are wanting to step up further in that game. Maybe they are coming from a crop sensor camera and they want to spend their money for a full frame camera, but they don't want to spend too much money for a full frame camera. Then the Canon EOS RP is actually the only one I can think of that has the best image quality. Otherwise you have to buy an older Sony camera. But then again, you get an older camera with older tech. Maybe on the long run, if you are just saving your money for an RF lens, then you can buy an RF lens and put it on this little guy right here, and you will get amazing results as well. So for photography, this is really a good camera. Alright, that's it. Let me know what you think about this camera. Let me know if you like this video. If you do, please smash that like button. Subscribe if not already, if you want to see more reviews, see more of me. Also, use the links in below to buy 40 of those cameras, and you will be helping me out with this channel. You will be supporting this channel. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you again for watching. Have a good day. See you the next time. Good luck.